You might want to have a chair nearby just as an aid for your balance. You can also use a wall. And a couple of blocks will also help with some of the poses in this practice. So let's be standing. We'll start by finding our mountain pose. This is our basic foundational standing yoga posture in which we place the feet about hip width apart, but they might be a little wider or a little closer depending on where you feel most strong, most grounded, most steady, like a mountain. Now you can shift a little round on your feet back and forth, side to side, to get a sense of where your center of gravity is, where you can have the weight placed evenly on the soles of both feet. When you find that center, allow your arms to hang down lightly from your sides, crown of your head rise up tall. And then let's add to that length by going into an extended mountain. As you breathe in, reach your arms up and overhead, reaching long in your arms. So reaching from that rooting of your feet into the ground or into the earth, and that rising up through your side body, through your arms, all the way up to your fingertips, reaching toward the ceiling or the sky. One more breath in this extended mountain pose. And then as you exhale, you can float your arms back down by your sides. All right, now we'll take the feet a little bit wider than wherever you landed for mountain pose. So wider than your hips. That will be different for every person. A little bit wider. Still with a really strong foundation. So again, take a moment to shift around, re-find your foundation now in this wider pose. And we'll do a little bit of lateral stretching. Lateral just means the side of the body. So I'm going to be mirroring you. Want to breathe in and stretch your left arm up overhead, looking to create length. Again, that same length as when we had both arms along this side body. And then on an exhale, reaching toward your right. Pushing into the left foot into the ground and reaching the right fingertips out toward the left. So there's no need to go down low. You're actually looking for the place where you feel the most stretch in this whole target area. And that might be here, that might be here. And then breathe in, sweep up, and we'll go to the other side. Raise your right arm up overhead. Again, think about that length in your right side body. And then as you press into your right foot, begin reaching left. Your left hand can comfortably slide down your leg. Reaching longer. It's fine if your elbows bend. If it's comfortable, you can work to extend the elbow as well. Rooting into your feet. Breathe in to rise up. We'll do that one more on each side and we'll add a little something. Breathe in, reaching over to your left. Now this time, allow your opposite heel, so you're reaching to your right. You're going to allow your left heel to rise up. So you're on your tippy toe of your left foot, reaching over the right. Feel how that changes the stretch. And then press the heel back down into the floor. And notice, did you feel anything deeper anywhere along your side body? I felt it a little bit here, right in my waistband area. Rooting both feet, rise back up, exhale, and we'll try that on the other side. So again, this time it's going to be your right arm reaching up. You're going to lean to your left. Big, strong lean. And then with your right foot, begin to peel the heel off the ground, toes stay down. Reaching a little bit more, getting that long side body stretch. And push the left heel back down into the ground. Notice how that affects your stretch. Does it adjust it anywhere? And root down into both feet as you breathe in, rising back up, exhaling and releasing your arms. All All right, so here is where we're going to do our first tree pose. As we build these poses, as I said, from the ground up, that means we're going to be doing lower versions of tree and then going to variations of different versions, maybe what you know as the classical version. Now I'll step closer to my chair. Remember, you have the chair as an option at any time. I'll use the chair on the first side and maybe not the second. So you'll be starting with the weight in your right foot. Look down at that foot, lift your toes and spread the toes. And then let the toes settle back down to the ground. That will help that foot be your solid, grounded foot. Think about that foot sinking into the earth. Again, growing those roots. Your left knee is going to turn out to the side. And then drag your foot in so the heel of your left goes right over your right ankle. So this is our low tree. It's grounded in that we have the heel supported above the ankle. We still have the tree pose shape, and you can take your hands to the sides of your hips, thinking about this widening of your pelvis. And then keep your hands somewhere low. They can be at your hips or at heart center. It can even be stretched out as branches ahead of you, because we know we have all different kinds and types of trees. And you might know a different version of tree or be able to go right into that. I encourage you to stay here with this version for a few moments, allowing yourself to be grounded, allowing yourself to grow roots. And then set that foot down and we'll switch to the other side. So now it's your left foot that's going to be your grounded foot. Look down at your toes once more. Spread them out as much as possible. Sink them back down into your mat. That's your foundational foot. That's your rooting foot. When we go to one leg, we need one foot really strongly rooting us. Open the right knee out to the side and think about the shape first. Before you do any lift, think about that knee opening, that external rotation on the right hip joint into the leg. And then slide the foot in closer so that the heel of the right rests right over the ankle of the left. You can place your hands on your hips. I'm a fan of putting our hands on our bodies so that we can feel what we're doing. And then from here, your choice of where to put the hands, you can keep them right here on your hips. They can be at heart center. You can go out in front. But keep them low for this first version. So somewhere maybe below shoulder, even if it's more in a cactus position, let yourself be a low, more grounded cactus. And really focusing on this opening here across the front of your pelvis. One more breath. And then place both feet solidly on the ground, coming back to your solid mountain pose. This is our home base, our place where we can feel solid and steady, even as we move through this asana or postural practice. All right, we'll be doing another little balance move that will take the weight first into one leg, into the right side, and then the left knee is going to lift and rainbow out to the side. So shift your weight. I'll start by holding the chair lightly to give you a sense of what we're going to do. I'll just be lifting the knee out, and then it'll come up, over, and down, and then back. And we'll do this a little bit, maybe 3 to 5 times or so. Doesn't have to be exact. You'll notice we're getting movement in the hip joint, and when we go out to the side, it's that same opening as for our tree pose. Well, let's do one more. This might be 6. That's fine. All right, then back down to the center. This side, I won't use the chair. You can use a wall, so you can always use something for balance as we go through the shape of the pose. Let your left foot be stable and steady into the ground as you lift your right knee up, over, out to the side, and then back again. So as we do this, we're trying to isolate as much of the movement as possible in this hip joint area. And even though I'm wiggling around a little bit on the side, I'm trying to stabilize my foot into the ground without too much movement on the side. Putting my hand on my hip helps a little bit, and that's where holding on to something can help to keep this side a little steady as we're moving the side around in the socket. All right, let's do one more time on this side, and then come back. And now we're we're going to play around with that opening of the joint movement a little bit more. We'll take our feet wider than hip width once again, this time turning the toes out so they're about at a 45-degree angle. And we're going to go into goddess pose. We'll start with the hands low at the hips. Begin to bend the knees, and as you do this, take a peek down and see that the knees are tracking toward the outside of your toes rather than collapsing in. Then your feet will tend not to be as grounded. You won't be putting your weight evenly on the whole foot. So keep your weight evenly on the whole foot. Allow your knees to track out, and even use your hands as a little bit of help, encouraging this openness now on both sides, on both legs, widening, stretching these groin muscles. And then sinking a little lower if possible. So this is goddess pose. If you want to add goddess pose arms, they're like a cactus shape. You're welcome to do that. You're also welcome to keep your hands right here, encouraging your thighs to continue to open out, encouraging that stretch. Maybe you feel some of that energy starting to build up in your quad muscles, in your glutes, your outer hips. You can come up anytime you need to. You can stay as long as you want to. Let's take one or two more breaths here. Maybe one more. Is there any space to go a teeny bit lower on this one more breath? And then press into your feet, grounding down to grow up. Very nice. Let's step the feet back and together.